Hi guys, and welcome to this video. I hope you're all doing super well. Thank you so much once again, of course, for joining me right here on my channel. So today guys, I have an interesting case to discuss with you, and that is the case of the cult of Thawee Nanra. Now this particular cult, I feel like they're not really known so much in the UK or in Western Europe, because they are actually a Thai cult, or were founded by a Thai cult leader. And it's a very interesting, unusual cult. So without further ado guys, let's get into the case of Thawee Nanra. Before I get into this video guys, I need to put out a disclaimer, and the disclaimer I'm going to put out today is we are going to be talking about feces, urine and fluids that come from the body. So I would simply advise you not to eat food while watching this video, but each to their own. Right guys, so let's get into the cult of Thawee Nanra. So this cult was based in Thailand and was in existence approximately for 4 years from what is known to the public, okay? So this was generally going on actually during the time of COVID, and this cult was investigated in 2022, so when we were right in the middle of that whole COVID era. This cult was located in northeastern Thailand in an area called Chaya Phum province. So this particular area is very countryside-y, very rural, and I believe the actual leader of this cult chose purposely to put it in that kind of rural area, so it was kind of out of the way, out of view from prying eyes, people that might take a downward view of the cult. At the time when the whole investigation started in 2022, Thawee Nanra was 75 years old. So as far as I'm aware, he is in clearly one of the oldest age ranges for cult leaders. So that was his real name, Thawee Nanra. And his followers would refer to him, as far as I can remember, as Fra Fida or Fida Fra, which is kind of like spiritual father in Thai. So how this cult kind of came to light initially, because they were really sort of under the radar for a long time, because they were in this really rural kind of out of the way area, is because one of the ladies in the cult, so this 80-year-old Thai woman, her daughter actually became really concerned for her 80-year-old mother because of the conditions that she was living in this cult, etc. And what she actually did is she messaged a social media Thai influencer who is an influencer that kind of outs dodgy religious leaders in Thailand. And then what happened is that social media influencer basically raised the alarm on the cult and alerted the police, and then the police descended onto the cult and started to do this whole raid and investigation process. When the police got to the actual cult location, the buildings they were kind of like these little kind of houses made out of wood, etc. Nothing really fancy. So they found, people say, between 6 and 10 followers in this house where Thawee Nanra, so the cult leader, was living. And what they found was very disgusting. That's the best way I can first describe it. So before they even had a discussion with all of these followers and everything, there were all these nasty smells kind of coming from the main house that Thawee Nanra was living in with all his older followers. And they basically discovered that he was telling them that in order to cure illnesses that they might have, that the followers would need to consume his urine, his feces or excrement, his dandruff, and any dead skin that he's got on his body as well. Now we need to remember guys that this was in the height of COVID in 2022 when this investigation started. It was at the beginning of 2022, so we were still being in and out of lockdowns in different countries. There was still, we still had to wear masks on and off, and there were, distance limitations and all of this, right? But these people were like 6 to 12 people as a group living in a house with feces, urine, and God knows what that they were consuming, and the house was basically, everything was disgusting. And initially Thawee Nanra was arrested by the police because sorry guys, because of the concern of obviously hygiene levels, bearing in mind this was at the time of COVID as well, so this whole social distancing thing obviously wasn't being respected. But then because of the non-hygiene level, never mind hand sanitizer and God knows what, this was way beyond that situation. So Thawee Nanra got arrested by the police really because of the whole hygiene aspect initially. They've arrested Thawee Nanra now. He's gone to the police station, whatever, right? So the followers, some of them started like packing up their stuff to go off somewhere. Some of them stayed there, and the police started kind of raiding the whole property. So they're raiding the house and everything. And then they kind of found this kind of outhouse, right? And this kind of lorry truck as well. So what they discovered is, in order to kind of subsidize the cult, so to get money, what they would do is they would sell different food products. Now you're probably thinking, okay, what food products were they selling? Because these people are consuming feces, urine, dandruff and dead skin. So what are they actually going to be selling to the general public, right? What the police actually discovered in this outhouse was this kind of 1 litre bottled liquid product, and it was supposed to be some kind of like fish seasoning. So you know how you have like soya sauce and things like that? It was kind of like this dark liquid fish seasoning that would be used to in seasoning when you do cooking basically, which is a traditional kind of Thai seasoning in Thailand. So that was the first kind of product. Then they discovered this fermented fish, so the smell was really overpowering. And then they found like dried squid and some dried kind of rice crackers or something, but all the smells that were coming off of this were not like normal smells for that produce in Thailand. It was like extreme and disgusting. And when I say an outhouse, guys, you guys are probably thinking, oh, a little shed, you know, you've got a little table. This, I'm telling you, this outhouse is not somewhere that most people would even enter, even with a hazmat suit. Like, this is not somewhere where you're gonna enter like that, so you definitely wouldn't want to prepare food in this. So what they found in this kind of dilapidated shed thing, and all of these kind of barrels and tubs and things where they were producing this food, and where they found all these like bottles of liquid, this like fermented fish, this squid and all of this, it was in containers that had maggots and flies all over them. Like, all this food was covered in it. And they actually noticed that some of the followers were uploading like all this produce into a truck to take it to the local market to sell it to like customers there. After discovering all this kind of food that's in a complete state with all these maggots, etc., and all of this stuff, they come across these kind of like big container barrel things with liquid in, and they discover that in this liquid it's kind of like water supposedly with dead kind of flowers in, and bones and animal skulls. They actually asked like the followers and Thawee Nanra like what this liquid was, like what is it, because this had nothing to do with food preparation, and even then food preparation is questionable. So they asked him like, what is this liquid? And he said, this is holy water, wait for it guys, to cure insanity. It's very interesting that a cult leader who's got bones in water and animal skulls and God knows what in there, there's probably urine in there for all we know, is saying that that's what will cure insanity. So anyway, they've taken Thawee Nanra off to the police station. Half these followers are packing up their stuff and running off to God knows where because they're clearly panicking now. And then you've got some other followers sort of wandering about, but there wasn't loads of followers there. There was probably maximum 12, so it wasn't like one of these huge massive cults or anything. It was small, so the police could kind of contain things. The followers weren't aggressive or anything, and a lot of them were elderly anyway, so it wasn't difficult to contain these people. So the police decided, because there was a few people in this truck that were going to take obviously this food off to the market, so the first thing the police did is like locked off the truck. They were like, no one's taking that anywhere. Then they got like packed up all this food and liquids and whatever else was there to take it to further investigate what it was and dispose of it. Because of course the police were like, this food is not fit for consumption. Like it's in barrels of maggots. So when I say barrels of maggots, guys, there's like thousands of maggots. It's not like 2 or 3, it's like thousands and thousands, like everywhere. Like I don't think anyone could see how you could prepare food in that, but anyway, or store food in it. And I bet the people who they were selling it to at the market probably didn't even know that this is how their food is being prepared. So the police have now taken all of this stuff and removed it from the property, and they decided that they wanted to destroy all these little, you know, cult buildings, because they were like, it's a cult, so we're not going to allow this here, and it's a hygiene hazard, especially during COVID, so we're just going to knock it, you know, all down. But they said to the followers, we'll give you like 7 to 10 days to evacuate the premises. So anyway, as the police are kind of preparing to, you know, establish, right, how are we going to demolish all these little outbuildings and whatever, they go back in the main house, like in the property where Thawee Nanra was living with all his followers. So they were all living in one house, but then they would have like this outbuilding to prepare the food and what have you, right? So the police have now gone back inside the property to sort of inspect it, to see, right, how are we going to demolish it? Can we find any more evidence in regards to this guy, to see if we can find any further convictions, basically, right? So they've gone in there, they start going around the whole property now, and they start discovering like these huge sort of long things that are in kind of white cloth or plastic. So they're literally thinking like, what is this now? And these things are quite long and quite big, and they start asking the followers like, what is all this? And there's like they're all around the property, like there's about 11 of them, right? All sort of stationed in different areas of property, like in the kitchen, in the living room, in the bedroom, like everywhere. They start asking the followers, what is this? And the followers actually tell them that these are like dead people, they're corpses. So basically what was going on is Thawee Nanra was telling all his followers that all these dead corpses that they've wrapped up in this white cloth and everything, that they need to worship these corpses, basically, all these dead people. And apparently these were like other dead followers that were in these like body bags, in this white cloth, basically. And all these 11 corpses were like just disposed anywhere around the house. Like you walk around the house, here's one corpse, you go to the toilet, here's another one in the bathroom. They were just literally like everywhere. So the police are thinking, God, right, we came here to convict this man who's a cult leader, and this is a hygiene hazard in COVID, and now we're dealing with a murder case with 11 dead bodies in this property, right? So they're thinking, oh my God, like what else has been going on? And they start asking all the followers like more about what's gone on, but they couldn't get a lot of information. Then they start asking them, you know, more about what their diet consists of, and, you know, all this food they found. And so the followers start saying, oh, we have a normal diet, we eat normal food, and this and this and that, bearing in mind that they've been consuming urine, feces, dandruff and dead skin. So to understand what they consider a normal diet is quite difficult. But yeah, they told the police that they have a normal diet. One of the dead bodies, it turns out that it was Thawee Nanra's mother that was wrapped up in one of these body bag things, right? And he'd got his mum's corpse wrapped up and in the house, and it had been there for God knows how long. Now apparently, I don't know how much of this is true, because this case was really difficult to research because most of the information was in Thai and I had to find translations. But it seems like there was a dispute between Thawee Nanra and one of his other brothers in regards to him releasing his mother's corpse to his younger brother so that they could do a funeral. And Thawee Nanra didn't want to release his mother's corpse. He then ended up keeping it in the house with all these other 10 corpses and it's just in the house basically. So while Thawee Nanra's gone to the police station, he's been arrested and all of this, his followers now rock up outside the police station. They're protesting. Till this point they've been fairly passive, but they now rock up at the police station. They're protesting and everything. They want to collect him and take him to safety, right? And his younger brother, who's 62, actually posts bail for Thawee Nanra so he can be released. Now, I still don't understand how bail was posted for someone who's got 11 corpses in their house, because from the point that you've got 11 corpses in your house, and those corpses have been there for some time, it's not like they just got there last night. They have been there for months and months and months, but you've still been bailed. Anyway, so the police somehow give him bail, right? Because his younger brother is 62. All the people in this case, guys, are really elderly. So the brothers posted bail. Thawee Nanra's buggered off with all his followers now, and people didn't really know where he went. They asked his older brother, who's 77, if he also knew where Thawee Nanra's gone, and the older brother's like, I don't really know. But in the end, again, guys, it was so difficult to find the outcome of this case. But in the end, he was convicted of like so many charges. There was just loads and loads and loads. So obviously the hygiene ones, then the murders, then all of this. There was just so many convictions. But I could not find information on the level of sentencing. So how many years he got, and all of this kind of thing. But according to present times now, because this happened very recently in 2022, the cult has been disbanded because there weren't actually that many followers in the first place. So they just demolished all the buildings, disposed of all that food, and that was basically the end of the cult. And that, guys, was the cult of Thawee Nanra. Now, as I said, guys, it was so difficult for me to find in-depth information on this cult. I had to watch videos online in Thai with English subtitles. It was a whole process just to get this level of information, to be honest with you. And I'm so sorry I couldn't find the sentencing, because I like to find out what the outcome of a case was. But in this case, it was just so difficult, quite honestly. But yeah, that was the case of Thawee Nanra. I hope you found this video, guys, interesting, insightful, not too disgusting. If you enjoyed it, feel free to like, subscribe and comment down below, and leave me any comments, any ideas in regards to future videos or cases you'd like me to do, strange cases. And I will see you very, very soon, of course, for another video.